Hello and welcome to another installment of Genshin News. In this news coverage, we'll be talking about all the new information released in the version 4.1 special program. So the character banners for version 4.1 have been announced for both phases, with the first half being the new male Hydro Catalyst character, Neuvillette, alongside a Hu Tao rerun. The second phase has our very first Cryo Catalyst character, Wriothesley, and a Venti rerun. From what little information we got, Neuvillette is an on-field charge attack DPS with abilities that can enhance its damage. His elemental skill and burst buffs his charge attack in a unique way by generating these water orbs known as source water droplets. Whenever he uses his charge attack, he absorbs all droplets that are in front of him, which makes his charge attack form faster. Performing his charge attack will drain his HP, but absorbing these water droplets will also heal him. His exploration passive will increase the sprint speed of your characters underwater. Meanwhile, our beloved Wangsheng Funeral Parlor director has returned once again to give us some discounts for the dead. She was released back in version 1.3 and boasts a high single target damage from her infused charge attack. On the other hand, Wriothesley is a Cryo Catalyst user who punches his enemies in cold blood. Just like Wanderer, his elemental skill enhances the damage of his normal attacks, but it also causes him to lose HP. Once his HP falls to a certain point, his next charge attack will be greatly enhanced to deal more damage. If this charge attack hits, it will also heal him. His elemental burst allows Wriothesley to hit enemies in front of him with a big icy cold punch. Meanwhile, his exploration passive will give him a chance at doubling weapon ascension materials upon crafting. Meanwhile, we have the Drunken Bard chilling at the corner of this banner with his rerun. Alongside the characters, we will be getting two new limited 5-star weapons both for Neuvillette and Wriothesley respectively. We will also get some 4-star weapons which very likely be exclusive to the weapon banner itself. If you want to know more about these future characters, stick around for when I make a video on whether you should pull them or not. So let us move on to the new content announced for the next version. In version 4.1, we are getting the third and fourth act of Fontaine's Archon Quest. This continuation of the main story will center around the traveler being falsely accused to allow them to infiltrate Fontaine's prison, the Fortress of Meropide. The Fortress of Meropide is essentially the Alcatraz of Fontaine, which is essentially a prison whose rule is completely detached from Fontaine's governance. This may or may not be a new area. Speaking of new area, we will be getting the ruin of Fontaine's Research Institute in 4.1. This area was explained to be a result of a mishap in an experiment relating to gravity. And speaking of gravity, we will be getting two new overworld bosses, of which the first one is the experimental field generator. From the footage, it seems like the battle against this boss will be related to gravity. Meanwhile, the second boss is the Millenial Pearl Seahorse. This seems to be the evolution of the Electro Seahorse that we have seen before. So it's very likely that this boss will have the same Electro Shield that the regular variant has, which will enhance its attacks. Meanwhile, the Fatui seems to have added new lineups to the roster with the introduction of two new elite units, the Operatives. There will be a Cryo unit and an Anemo unit, of which they seem to possess some very interesting abilities. As always, these new enemies will very likely be introduced in the 4.1 Spiral Abyss. As usual, we will be getting these story quests for both Neuvillette and Wriothesley in version 4.1. Now, let us move on to the events. Every patch always has a set of 5 events, with one major and the others being a minor event. The major event this time around is the Waterborne Poetry. As usual, this event will give a lot of resources, including the Crown of Insight. Also, there seems to be a new 4-star Catalyst weapon that is very much obtainable, so be sure to play the event whenever you can. And with the major events, we will have a variety of minigames, and one of them is the 100 pace hurling rides. In this minigame, you will have to throw darts and hit as many pots as possible within the time limit to gain a high score. The second minigame is the Inspiration Eruption, which is essentially a combat event with a gimmick, so there is nothing special to see here. And the third minigame is the Mending Painting Prospects, where travelers will have to traverse to different locations in Teyvat to fill the missing parts of the picture based on the scenery. Moving on to the smaller events, Klee is once again up to her usual antics with the Dodoko's Bombtastic Adventure. This event requires you to control Dodoko to shoot out jumpties to hit targets on a grid. In the Radiant Harvest event, travelers would have to assist a merchant in Fontaine in controlling the underwater ecosystem by gathering these violet jellyfishes underwater. Once again, we have another combat event, the Peaks and Throes of Life. There will be a gimmick gadget that will assist you in clearing the event, and there seems to be some features that will allow you to select buffs for your party respectively. And then once again, making its return, we'll have a TCG event, the Forager's Realm Temper. The rewards will be lucky coins as usual. Rejoice free-to-players and low spenders, for we will be having a bountiful reward for the game's 3rd anniversary with the Bathing in Flowing Moonlight. With the login event, players can gain a bunch of resources including 10 intertwined fates over the course of the event, so be sure to log in every day to claim your rewards. Alongside that, players will also receive in-game mails over the course of 4 days to claim rewards, which are 1,600 Primogems, which are essentially 10 pulls, 4 fragile resins, an octopus pet, and a bubble blower gun. Also, the top-up bonus will reset upon version 4.1, so that is something for the big spenders. And lastly, we will have the Overflowing Mastery, which will give double drops for talent books. And usually, this event will only occur on the last week of version 4.1. And lastly, let us move on to the quality of life changes. As mentioned in the previous episode, there have been some quality of life changes. The first one being the addition of a guide to help newer players on how to obtain the Adventure Rank EXP. They also made it easier for players to clear the Ascension quest by decreasing the difficulty while reducing the time limit. The biggest change this time around will be the Adventure Encounters system. With this system, players can gain encounter points by completing quests, collecting things like Oculize, or by opening chests in the overworld. These encounter points can be exchanged for commission rewards, and the rewards are shared with the regular daily commissions. Once 4 commission rewards have been claimed, players can claim the daily commission rewards through Catherine at the Adventurers Guild. This system allows players to claim commission rewards without having to play the commissions themselves. However, there seems to be a caveat of which these points will reset every time daily commissions reset, so I personally hope to see this change in future versions. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today's news coverage. So give this video a like if you found this helpful, subscribe for more news coverage, and leave a comment if you have any questions or insights to share. And I wish you all a great day ahead of you. This is Ethereal, signing off.